Investigators in the police report said there were discrepancies between the footage and Brady Kiser's initial statement the night of the drowning. They interviewed him a second time on June 16th with his lawyer present. This is very disturbing. Brady Kiser told police the pool cover was not on because they were expecting the pool service company the next. Okay, this just gets worse and worse. I don't even think I can keep reading this. You're not going to put a pool cover on because the pool company is coming the next day? Are you kidding me? You're going to let your child go and sit and play outside while you're watching him from a window, which again, they have a very large backyard. You can't just look out one window and see their entire area. So you're going to let him outside without a pool cover.
She was spinning on a thin black sheet of glass. She saw both the lights flash before her eyes. She didn't even have time to cry. She was so...
On May 12th, 2025, 3-year-old Trigg Kiser tragically drowned in the family's backyard pool in Chandler, Arizona. His father, Brady Kiser, was at home with him and his newborn brother, Theodore, while Emily, the mother, was out with friends. Although Brady had only lost sight of Trigg for 3 to 5 minutes, according to him, police video shows otherwise. We are going to talk about what is released, the newly released police records regarding Trigg Kiser, regarding his drowning, how long was Trigg in the water, and what was his dad doing while he was left unsupervised outside. This is Shannon from Only Shannon Knows, coming to you regarding the truth, talking about things that need to change with regards to social media and parent awareness. Let's dive into this case. According to USA Today, Emily Kiser's son was in the pool for 7 minutes before he was found. This is according to the police report. So Trigg Kiser, he is the 3-year-old son of social media influencer Emily Kiser, and he tripped while playing, according to that video evidence. Trigg Kiser tripped while he was playing with an inflatable chair, and that he was in the water for nearly 7 minutes before his father found him, according to the police report about the boy's drowning death. Now, there was not a pool fence. So those of you, just to catch you up to speed very quickly, there was not a pool fence around the pool. However, there was a fence around the patio furniture outside. Why was Trigg left unattended outside without a pool fence present? The pool is huge. He was left outside, and we'll read further. He was left outside for about 9 minutes without a pool fence. My children are 5 and 7, and I will tell you right now, they know how to swim. They would not be left outside at all without a pool fence, without me somehow having eyes on them and being outside with them. Let's dive into this more. So Trigg was outside by himself for more than 9 minutes. This is according to Chandler Police Department. Go ahead, like, subscribe. We're going to keep covering this story. But I'm also going to get into what was his dad doing. So stay tuned. So Trigg was found in the backyard pool of their home on May 12th, and he died in the hospital on May 18th. Emily Kiser's husband, Brady Kiser, was at home with Trigg and their newborn son, Theodore, at the time of the drowning. Emily Kiser was out with friends, and Brady Kiser knew his son was outside. This is just very, very, very sad. You do not leave any child outside with a pool that is not protected. And the family had a pool cover. So the pool cover, number one, was not on. There was not a pool fence, and the child was left outside. This is called child neglect. The boy's death captured attention of many. Emily Kiser is a TikTok celebrity with about 4 million followers and has a presence on other social media platforms. She often posted about parenting and her home life and promoted products. Also, there is a TikTok where she talked about, do I get a pool fence? Do I get a pool cover? And she thought she was going to get the pool cover instead of the pool fence, which she did do. However, multiple of her posts that she had, the pool was left uncovered, and people called her out and would post comments on all of her posts stating you need to have a pool cover or a pool fence. Emily Kiser later would delete those posts. And now we are in a situation where there is a tragic death of a child because he was left unattended with the pool left wide open for him. Something silly, something happened. He tripped, he fell, and now here we are talking about his death. This is a sad situation that could have been prevented. Chandler police in July did recommend that Brady Kiser should be charged with a Class 4 felony child abuse. Prosecutors decided not to charge him because there would be no reasonable likelihood of conviction. So it's not that they didn't think he should be convicted. They thought the likelihood of him getting a conviction was slim to none. So they weren't going to waste their resources. The police report also summarizes how officers investigated the drowning, including conducting multiple interviews with Brady Kiser, reviewing surveillance footage of the family's backyard, and obtaining records from the sports betting company DraftKings. When police arrived at the Kiser home, officers immediately began resuscitation efforts. The NBA playoff game was between the Knicks and the Celtics and was playing on the television when officers arrived. At the time, Brady Kiser told police he didn't know where Trigg was for about 5 minutes before he found him in the pool. Later, at the hospital, Brady Kiser gave more detailed account of what led up to the drowning. But this time, he was unsure of whether he lost sight of Trigg for 3 minutes or for 5 minutes. Turns out it was neither. It was 9 minutes. I didn't have a clock, Brady Kiser told police. I don't know the exact time, but it was moments. It wasn't that he had been out of sight for long, which isn't true. It was 9 minutes. We're going to get into this story more, and I'm very familiar with addiction to gambling, and obviously substance abuse and addiction to drugs. However, if you are sitting here and you are gambling and you are waiting and watching a game because you are placing bets, that is a problem. When you put that above your children, that is a problem, or above anything else. I do believe addiction plays a part, the report said. He didn't exactly know how long. Brady Kiser told police he was keeping an eye on Trigg through a window while he was holding his younger son. He saw Trigg in a grass area near a blow-up slide playhouse and last saw him walk from there to an elevated portion where there was a hot tub, the report said. Now, their backyard is very large. So they have an area where there is a playhouse, then they have the large pool, they do have the hot tub, and then they have another grassy area. And then, of course, they have that patio furniture, which is the only thing that has a fence around it. I'm going to say this until I am blue in my face. Why put a fence and protect your patio furniture and not protect your own child? If your child is outside playing, either get a fence or put the pool cover over the pool to protect. This could have been prevented. Brady Kiser said he thought he went to get a drink. When he checked on Trigg again, he went outside and saw him in the water. He put his other son down and took his shirt off. Okay, I'm reading this for the first time. He put his other son down and took his shirt off and jumped into the pool. You see your son, you don't know how long, you think it was 3 to 5 minutes he was outside, and then you go out there and you decide to put your son down, and then you take your shirt off? He brought Trigg inside and began CPR. At some point, he called 911. Okay, so he began CPR and didn't call 911 right away? There's something called Hey Siri or Hey Google, or if you have an Alexa, Hey Alexa. There are those things. Emergency services. Every phone has it. This is very disturbing. Brady Kiser told police the pool cover was not on because they were expecting the pool service company the next. Okay, this just gets worse and worse. I don't even think I can keep reading this. You're not going to put a pool cover on because the pool company is coming the next day? Are you kidding me? You're going to let your child go and sit and play outside while you're watching him from a window, which again, they have a very large backyard. You can't just look out one window and see their entire area. So you're going to let him outside without a pool cover, without a pool fence, and you're not going to have the pool cover on because your pool service company is coming the next day. By the way, for those of you who have a pool, I never have had one. For those of you that have a pool and have a pool cover, do you take the pool cover off before your pool service company comes, or do they take it off and put it back on? I would think if a pool cover was on, they would take it off and put it back on. Not too sure about that. If they don't, you don't leave the pool cover off. You can take it off. If they're there the next day, you can take it off. Emily is an influencer, meaning she works from home. She doesn't have to leave the next day to go to work or anything. You could have done it that morning or while the pool company was there. Or here's an idea, when the kids go to bed. I still wouldn't do it, to be honest with you, because a kid can get outside the door at any point in time in the middle of the night and get into the pool. But that is another option. Okay. Emily Kiser later told a state child protection worker that the family had been spending time in the pool together over the past couple of days and had not yet put the cover back on. Okay. Here's an idea. If you're not going to use the pool cover to keep your children safe from the pool, get a pool fence. If I am in and out of the pool, Brady Kiser said he believed Trigg must have slipped when playing. Really? I thought you were watching him through the window. Hours later, an interview with officials from the Department of Child Safety, Brady Kiser told police he was feeding his newborn son, which usually takes 15 to 20 minutes, right before he found Trigg in the pool. You can hold the baby and you can hold the bottle at the same time. So even if it takes 15 to 20 minutes, you can do that standing up, walking around. You can do multiple things. Obviously, he was watching the game and betting on the game versus watching his son. This just gets worse and worse. Trigg didn't fully know how to swim. and knew not to get into the pool by himself. Okay, come on, people. So Trigg was 3. So yes, he didn't know how to fully swim, put the pool cover on, or get a pool fence. Number 1, we've already covered that ground. Number 2, he knew not to get into the pool by himself. There is something called accidental slipping and falling into a pool, which did happen. There also, how do you know that something might not fall into the pool and then he might not reach for it? He's not getting in the pool. He might not reach for it. A 3-year-old is not going to think this is dangerous. I shouldn't do this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He knew not to get into the pool by himself. He didn't get into the pool by himself. He tripped and fell into the pool. So discrepancies between the footage and statements prompted a second interview. Really? The description of the surveillance footage that captured Trigg's drowning was redacted in the police report after a judge on August 7th ordered that it served no purpose other than satisfying morbid curiosity. This is the situation. When you put views above the safety of your children and the safety of your family, that is a problem. That is why I'm covering this story. Investigators in the police report said there were discrepancies between the footage and Brady Kiser's initial statement the night of the drowning. They interviewed him a second time on June 16th with his lawyer present. Trigg never went into the grass area. Interesting. Which if you'll see a photo, I'll include a photo. The pool seems to be more in the middle of their backyard, and then there's a grass areas on the side. So he didn't go into the grass area. And an investigator told Brady Kiser it was impossible that the last place he saw Trigg was near the hot tub. When confronted with these statements, which were not further described in the redacted police report, Brady Kiser said it was his best recollection and that he wasn't trying to hide anything. Brady Kiser wasn't sitting and watching Trigg from where he initially said he was. Interesting. Brady Kiser at first said he was sitting in a chair facing the backyard. Okay, no. He later said he was on a couch, which was facing the television. Brady Kiser said that he was only focused on his newborn while Trigg was outside alone, not on his phone or the baseball game, Brady Kiser told police. Earlier in the evening, Brady Kiser had placed a $25 bet on an aspect of the game. Trigg loved going outside, and it was common for him to be out there, Brady Kiser said. Usually, Trigg went outside with a parent, but Brady thought it was harmless for Trigg to go outside by himself that day. Brady Kiser said that while it wasn't normal for Trigg to be outside unsupervised, it had happened before. So, okay, let's just pull it all together here. Number 1, he was not sitting facing the window and looking out and watching Trigg. Okay, number 1, that was false. He was sitting on the couch, which the couch faced the TV. He said that he was watching his newborn son and feeding his newborn son, okay? But he also played a $25 bet, which is called gambling. So you placed a $25 bet, guarantee you're watching to see if you're going to win. Why place a bet and not watch to see if you're going to win? That is part of the gambling addiction, okay? And not to mention, if you're going to sit and watch, I don't have a problem with, people placing a bet. It is what it is, okay? But if you're going to sit and you're going to gamble and you're going to watch a TV or just feed your newborn son or do all of those together, leave your 3-year-old son inside who doesn't know how to swim or put the pool cover on if he's going to be outside. This is child neglect. Why would you have your children outside? Why would you have your children outside? I understand he loved going outside. I understand that. My children do too, but they don't go and just randomly play outside. We don't have anything fenced. When they go outside, I go outside with them. And they're 5 and 7. They're not 3. And we don't have a pool. So let's dive into why Brady Kiser should be charged with child abuse. Brady Kiser's attention was divided, and he was not watching Trigg when he should have been. There was no evidence that Brady saw Trigg in the pool and ignored him. Still, Chandler Police said there were multiple reasons for their charging recommendation, including that Brady knew there was no cover on the pool, that Trigg was in the backyard without supervision and did not know how to swim, and that Brady Kiser's statements did not match surveillance footage. This leads to the conclusion that Brady Kiser was not aware of what Trigg was doing and he was not watching him. And they did add Trigg's drowning could have been prevented. That is key. Throughout all of this, Trigg's drowning could have been prevented. This is child neglect. When you put views above anything else, you put gambling, you put views, you put basketball, whatever you're doing, when you put that above keeping your children safe, that is called child neglect. He should be charged. I'm probably going to get a lot of backlash, but he should be charged right now. This is ridiculous. Emily Kiser did file suit on May 27th to block investigative records about Trigg's death from public view. On June 3rd, a judge ordered that the police report could not be released until after lawyers reviewed and discussed its contents. About 2 months later, lawyers for Kiser and the Arizona Republic argued in court over what should be released. After Kiser asked for more than routine redactions, Maricopa County Superior Judge Christopher Whitten ultimately sided with Kiser, saying that making public portions of the police report that Kiser wanted withheld would risk exploitation by bad actors. I don't agree with that, but anyway. Kiser's lawyers had argued that details of the boy's drowning could be used to make AI video recreations. Really? I mean, people would do that? I guess they would, right? Anyway, that's shocking to me. I don't know why you would want to recreate a child drowning. The sections of the report weren't just a summary of the video recording, but a moment-by-moment description of Trigg's drowning. Wow. In form, the material may be a written description, but in substance and effect, it functions as a surrogate for the video itself. Whitten agreed with Kiser that the sections in question were not necessarily for government accountability. He said the public would still be able to understand the investigation and prosecutor's decision from the rest of the report. So, in all reality, that does make a little bit of sense. A moment-by-moment situation of what specifically happened with regard to Trigg Kiser's drowning. I don't necessarily know. I don't think I would want to know a moment-by-moment unless it did involve Brady, something ridiculous Brady did, which already what he's done is pretty much enough evidence of the neglect that he had, where he was putting his betting above his child's safety. And Emily was not home, but Emily knew that pool cover was not on there. They had been swimming days earlier. Then the next day, the pool company was coming to service the pool. That's the reason for the pool cover to not be on there, which doesn't make sense. Emily, if you're going to leave your house and leave your children there, you put a pool cover. No matter what, you should have a pool cover. Any child can slip out of a door at any time and get into a pool at any moment. Put a pool cover, put a pool fence around your pool. Protect your family, protect your children, and not your furniture. This is Shannon from Only Shannon Knows. Stay tuned because I am definitely going to continue covering this because this infuriates me how people are going to continue to put other things in front of their own family. This has got to stop, where people care more about views and the money that is coming in versus their children. This is Shannon from Only Shannon Knows, talking the truth, talking about what could have been prevented, and holding people accountable for what should have been done that wasn't done. Stay tuned, like, and subscribe.